Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can randomly automate the wah of a guitar um, in Reason using just a few devices. And I'll let you hear what it sounds like. It's the same little couple of notes, and you can hear how the wah actually changes as it plays. So you can hear the wah actually changing, and I didn't actually do any, you know, drawing in of the automation for that. It's basically done with an LFO generator and a few Thors to actually modulate the rate and the waveform of the LFO. So I'm using control voltage to send signals into the combinator to control various devices within inside the combinator. So let's go ahead and build one. Create a combinator. I'm going to just slide this over, and I'm going to create the amp, and I'm going to create my mixer. And I'm going to create an NXT. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because sometimes I like to layer sounds. And so I like to be able to just add those nice and neatly underneath the mixer. So I'm actually running my NXT into my mixer, and then from my mixer into the amp. And so for my Line 6 amp, I'm going to go ahead and select the wah clean patch from the Reason Factory Sound Bank. And for my NXT, I'm going to go ahead with the Strat Edge. And so that's what it sounds like without, the wah modulation going on. So next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and grab the pulsar, and I'm going to run our pulsar LFO to our wah. If we crank this up, I'm going to select my sync there. We can change our rate. So now what I want to do is I want to modulate my rate. I'm going to turn the rate down. And to do that, I'm actually going to add a Thor. And I don't need a patch here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my oscillator 1 and bypass my filter. Excuse me. Because we're not going to be using them. I'm basically using the S curve, or not the S curve, sorry, the curve 1 from Thor to do the modulation. So I'm going to go step sequencer, curve 1, increase the amount, and we're going to do CV audio or CV output 1. All right, now I'm going to come over here to my combinator, flip it around, the tab key just in case you don't know. I'm going to change this to unipolar, and I'm going to go CV1 output into CV1 input of a combinator. Now I want to program my pulsar 2 so that CV1 input controls the LFO rate synced. All right. So when the curve changes, so will the rate within my pulsar. I'm going to change this to repeat, We'll leave this at forward for now because we need to make adjustments to our curve. For now, I'm going to bring this down to 0. And that is because or down to 1. That's because I need to adjust all of these knobs for the curve. So I can see here that my curve is actually changing. All right, so I'm going to move this slowly until it moves the rate just a little bit. And then I'm just going to, I can see here that it's curve 1 and it's setting a 4. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to copy 4. I'm going to move this one up a little bit until the rate changes again. And it's 12, so I'm going to change this to 12. Move it up again. This will be 20. Move it up again. 27. Move it up again. 35. 43. 49. 59. 64. 72. 80. 88. 94. 102. 110. Okay, so we're not going to be hitting our last few, but that's okay because they're kind of fast and I wouldn't want to use them anyways. So, so now we have our modulation set, and we can move these steps back up to the 16, which changes us to random. And if we play, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomize the rate at which this changes. So, so rather than being 1/16 all the time, it's gonna randomly change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in another Thor, hold down the Shift key, open it up, turn all this junk off, and I'm going to do curve 1, output to CV output 1. I'm going to come to the back, grab my modulation output 1 into CV2 of the combinator, change this to unipolar, And now what I want to do is I want to change the rate here. So I'm going to come up, this is Thor 3. I'm going to go to Thor 3. I'm going to say CV input 2 is going to change my sequencer sync rate. Now if I come down here, I can drop this down to 1. And change this to curve 1. And now as I change the knob here, you'll see my rate over here changes. So I'm going to start this right about 4.4. So my next one up is going to be 3.4, and that's going to be at 42. So change it to 42. And the reason I skipped that is because my first one will be back down here to 4.4. So 3.4 up to 2.4, which is 49. 3/8, which is 55. We'll skip half triplets and move up to quarter, which is 67. 3/16, 76. We'll skip quarter triplets. 1/8 is 86. We'll do 1/8 triplets at 99. And then we'll do yeah, let's go ahead and do 1/16. So last one will be 106. Now we need to remember to bring this back down to 4.4. There we go. And we can change our number of steps down to, or up to 9. Change this to random. And so now when we play, this Thor is going to modulate our rate here. And this Thor is actually modulating the sync rate here. Now we're going to create one more Thor, which is going to modulate our waveform. So again, I'm going to grab the Thor and hold down Shift. Come in and we'll turn everything off. I'm going to change my curve 1 to CV output 1. And we'll take our CV output 1 into our CV3 of our combinator and change this to unipolar again. And now what we're going to modulate is the waveform. So I'm going to close this up so that I can actually see the waveform. And let's program our pulsar again so that CV input 3 changes the LFO1 waveform. All right. And so now when I come over here, I drop my steps down to 1, throw this up to repeat, change to curve 1. You can see my waveform actually changes in my pulsar up here. So I'm going to come through and set all my knobs for this as well. Okay. Drop this back down to 1 or 0. Raise this up to 9. Those are how many we changed. Set this to random. So now as we play this Thor, we'll modulate the waveform here. And what I want to do is I want to go back to my Thor 5, or I want to modulate as well the rate for my step sequencer on Thor 5. So I'm going to go to Thor 5 and I'm going to go back to CV input 2, which is the second Thor that we're using to modulate the rate. And we're going to go to sequencer, synced rate. And so now Thor 2 is modulating the sequencer sync rate for Thor 1 or for the first Thor and the third Thor. So if I mute all of this and we play it. So that's pretty random modulation, and if we take a listen. And so that patch can be used over and over, and I don't have to worry about modulating things, which is kind of nice. So that's it, and hopefully that helps you out.